a Pete Primeau fan.
Thank you for having me.
Your fans are like...
What an honor to be here, Pete. You're a legend. You're a rock star.
I'm a legend in my own mind, said my wife.
If I can do it, anybody can do it.
I'm Mr. Selling from the Heart. What's this guy, Larry Levine, going to teach me about selling from the heart?
You are one of the most generous and authentic people around. And I think that's why you and your show are so attractive to people.
Welcome to the Pete Primeau Show. It is episode 219, and I love these episodes because I get to sit back and do nothing while my unbelievably talented producer, Chris Stone, actually has the hard job of hosting this and asking me the questions, and I can just sit back here and have fun. But before we do that, let's pay the bills really quickly. If you haven't bought my book, Sell a Million, 101 Tips for Furniture and Mattress Store Owners, grab it. It's on Amazon. I think it's something stupid like $14.99. And the best comment I ever got on this book, take the word mattresses, take the word furniture out. It's just a great marketing book. It's by my dear friend, Doug Stewart. And shout out to you, Doug. I miss you. I told you you were too big for this industry. He's not in the industry anymore. I knew that was going to happen. And if you want a book on sales, pure belly to belly selling in a retail store, this is it. Miles and miles of retail selling greatness. This book isn't about me, folks. This book is about you and how you can sell more mattresses this year. And I'm not the only author of this book. Jeff Giannakovo, Brent Batterman, Mark Klingenberg, Chris Haney, Randy Thompson are among the contributors. My boss and my friend Justin Trumbo. There are so many great contributors. Steve Carnes is a contributor. 10 other contributors that wrote 1 to 2 chapters of this book to give you the ammunition that you need to really do something special with your retail sales career. And for you sales managers out there, you've got about 300 sales meetings here. 3 years worth of sales meetings, not 300 sales meetings. If you divide each chapter in half and each QR code you use to base a meeting on, you're right around 3 years of sales meetings pre-done for you, so you don't have to worry about it. And I would encourage you. It's $19.99. It's ridiculous. There's so much in there. I am so proud of what we created, and super proud of my contributing authors. They literally knocked it out of the park. I mean, Jeff Giannakovo, puts in writing his systems, which I don't think he's ever done that for free. So unbelievable. And we got to get started because I know we've got some questions. Let me think, Chris, this is why you're the world's best producer, because I'm squirrel and I see something and I just stay on it. Hey, guys and gals, if you don't belong to the Mattress Industry Network group and you're in the mattress industry, join this group. If you want to learn how to build, market, sell, and succeed, this is the place. Everybody's in here. There are store owners just like you. There are RSAs, sales pros that work the retail floor. There are sales reps. There are VPs of sales for manufacturers. There are owners of manufacturers. Everybody's in here. So if you want to learn how to build, market, sell, and succeed in the mattress industry, join for free. You're amongst friends. And there's over, I believe, 2,400 of us in here now. So hurry up, hit that QR code that my producer, Chris, is going to pull up and show you. Hit that QR code, join the Mattress Industry Network group today, and say hi when you get in the group. I'm in there several times a week. And thank you to our other sponsor, Wingo Coaching, Winning Strategies for Success Masterclass. It's in Cincinnati. And this is Scott Vaughn and Scott Bidwell. They do a great job with this. They had 2 last year, and this one promises to be all that and more. If you want to save $200, just use the code Pete, all capitals, 2025. Pete, all capitals, 2025. Save $200 and join us. I've got a stack of books behind me that I'm bringing to the masterclass. So if you come to the masterclass and you haven't bought my book, Miles and Miles of Retail Selling Greatness, you're going to get a free book, and I'll autograph it. And if you want, if you haven't signed up yet and you're on the fence, how about this? The value of this is priceless. I'll do an hour-long consult with you, free, just as if you were handing me a check for $20,000. We'll go through your business. We will, figure out some things for you to do before the end of that hour to help your business immensely. Another set of eyes and ears always helps. So join us in Cincinnati, Ohio. Chris, I am done talking, and I'll let you run the show.
Oh, you make it sound like you don't do a thing, right? And these shows, I do everything, and you just kind of kick back and twiddle your thumbs, right? That is not true, and I know it, Pete. You're about to deliver some value. And speaking of value, we've got Tara Day in the house.
Hey, Tara. Tara says, let's go. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you, Tara. And Marnie Kirby, happy Monday, Pete. Thank you, Marnie. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you.
So this is the Ask Pete, and for those of you who have never been to an Ask Pete before, where have you been all our lives? And no, but seriously, the way this works is sometimes people can't join the live show at noon Eastern on Mondays, so they email Pete, and you can email Pete at peteprimeau@ameritech.net. Let me get that up on the screen. And if you email him questions and you want to stay anonymous and you want to be called somebody, depressed in Detroit, that's me. Then you can ask that question. We'll read those questions. Pete will answer those questions. I may pepper in some opinions from here on out, from different industries. And, but if you're joining us live, like our friends Marnie and Tara are, and I see a lot of other people here on the live, so some other folks that are watching, please chime in. Let us know where you're watching from. And it looks like Pete has a new email, and it is pete@ameritech.net. Oh, no, pete@peteprimeau.com. Okay, this is breaking news for the producer on the show.
Always whipping those curveballs at my
Oh,
producer.
man, that's a knuckleball right there. That's that's a serious knuckleball. Pete@Pete Primeau. Boy, that just flows. That's alliteration right there. Pete@Pete Primeau. It's got like lots of plosives though. In the podcast industry, when we say words that start with P, that blows air out into a microphone. So that's why we speak across it. Little podcast tip for all those folks. Why do you have a microphone aimed this way and speaking across it? Well, that's because you don't want to blow people's ears out with words like pizza and Pete and Primo. Anyway, here we go. We're going to jump into this. Did I cover everything? Well, let's say good morning, everyone. To Fawad Zavari. I hope I did not destroy that name.
You did good. Fawad, thank you for being here. Fawad says, good morning, everyone. Let me just say this right now.
Uh-oh.
The smartest people are always the ones looking for an edge. I met Fawad at the Masterclass that Scott Vaughn had, and Fawad bought like 40 of these, maybe more of these books. So thank you, Fawad. There's a question that somebody else sent that might apply to you. So, and I'm going to answer it live as long as we get there. The only other thing I would add to everything we've said is anybody who's got a question, it's near and dear to your heart, you want it answered now, push it over to us, post it. Chris will pick it up and he will prioritize it to the ones we already have.
We shoot it to the top. That's the rules. That's what I forgot. See, Pete, this is symbiotic right here. I fumble, you pick it up, and you take it for a first down. I love it. Little football analogy because I want football to start already. All right, question number 1. This question comes from Jeff in North Carolina. Pete, in your book, you say to shop your competitors. I've always read every minute you are worrying about your competition is 1 minute you are not focused on your business. What are you looking for when you shop them? Jeff in North Carolina.
Wow. Great comment and great question. And in broad strokes, Jeff, whoever told you that, I think they're right. In just super broad strokes, but at some point in time, you do need to shop your competitors, and it actually should be done on a fairly regular basis. Once you've gotten through and shopped them all, you're going to know who they are. They're going to know who you are, and you're not going to be able to shop them, but you're going to be able to have them shopped. So let's go to the second part of that. What are you looking for? The most important thing, Jeff, is you have to stop saying, I own a furniture store, I own a sleep shop, and pretend in your own mind like you're a retail customer. Okay? And so what does a real customer do? A real customer today, they don't just come into your store. What do? Grab their smartphone, they pull your website up, they pull your social media up, they do a little bit of intel, they look at your Google, do all those things from the eyes of a customer and be inquisitive. And I'm showing my age like Inspector Clouseau, okay? Everything counts. And people hate this when I say it, because when I say everything counts, it means everything. And that means litter in your parking lot. So when you drive up into the store, is there litter in the parking lot? What is the front of the store appealing? What does it say? Is it consistent with the website? And is it consistent with the reviews? Is it consistent with the social media messaging? Okay, that's what I want you to look at. Chris, if you could pull up that little framework that I put together that you actually made really neat. So I've already taken care of the authentic online reviews. You've looked at them before you went in. You might have seen some testimonials on social media. You've looked at their Google reviews. You've looked at their website. Before you even go in, look at their advertising. I mentioned that. Now we're actually walking into the store. Look at their display. Is it consistent with the message on the website? Look at their merchandising. Does it make sense? Are there logical step-ups? It doesn't matter if it's a low-end store, a medium-end store, or a higher-end store. Does the merchandising make sense? Sales education. Is the salesperson well-trained? Or are they a hack? Delivery. You're not going to get that far, but you might look at the trucks. If you can see the trucks from where you're at, do they park them on the side of the building or the front? What kind of condition are the trucks? Do the trucks have messaging on them that is consistent with the website and the social media? Service, you're not going to be able to get to directly, but you can put your eyes and ears, your antennas up. Referrals, you're not going to be able to see because those are kind of invisible. But the authentic online reviews and the testimonials you'll be able to sink your teeth into. This, is basically something that I saw a version of when I worked for Certa. It was called the Market and Star, and it was started by Sealy. It was called something else, and I've added some things to it. But if you look at these things, Jeff, and you look at how your competitor addresses each one of these things, pay really close attention to promises of delivery, pay real close attention to the sales process. And is the sales process consistent with the merchandising? Is it consistent with the display? You can't have a high-end store with a high-end display, but crappy, sloppy merchandising and a crappy salesperson who's not well-trained. You can't. You have to have great salespeople who are super well-trained. And so this is what's going through my mind as I'm shopping. Now, very specifically, if you really want to tear into this thing, Jeff, take each one of these areas and make your own questions before you go shopping. So you're going to write advertising down. You're going to write display down, merchandising, sales education, delivery service, authentic online reviews, testimonials, referrals. And you're going to write down, what are your questions? What does a superior customer experience look like? Are they delivering one? And then you're going to look at this a different way. You're going to do a SWOT analysis. SWOT is just an acronym for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So, is there something that's a threat? Do they have super low prices? I really wouldn't consider that a threat. Do they have really great service? If they got really great service and high prices, they're a threat. If they have really great service and low prices, that's not sustainable over the long term, but they are an immediate threat. And so how do you combat that?
That's good.
So now here's the most important thing. I know that there's a bunch of you pros out there like, I don't have to shop my competition because my customers tell me everything about my competition. And yes, you are a PhD level sales pro if you do it that way. At the end of every time you make a sale, you unpack and you ask them why they bought from you, like I recommend in my books. You're going to unpack their lack of customer experience at what competitors you're going to be able to shop them without ever stepping foot into their store through your customers. So I'm sorry. It's probably more than you wanted to know, Jeff.
No, and I love how you stressed consistency, Pete.
Yeah.
And that's why this circle graphic makes so much sense. It's like if there's a broken part in this, if the education doesn't match the delivery, if this doesn't, the circle's broken, right? And so I think that's why this is so brilliant to be able to keep this so consistent. We do have a question that's coming in from online, and let's go ahead and we say, we walk the talk, ladies and gentlemen. So if you do have a question live, you will take precedent. And Pete, before I read this question, I want to make sure that you understand this is RJ, not JR. Okay, just. I got your back, Rocky Jr., on this one. This is Jacksonville Bedding, Mattress, and More. I'm going to assume that this is RJ and not Tara, because Tara did chime in on YouTube. Question is, over all of your years in the mattress industry, what's the most surprising change that you've seen in how people shop for or think about sleep?
Wow. RJ, that is a really good question. And if it's not RJ, I apologize, then it's Tara. And this is a question either one of them would ask me, because it's really, it shows, number one, how much you guys care about and love this business. and how much you want to serve your customers. So what really surprised me, uh, the single most surprising thing was the development of bed and box and how big it became. And it's still becoming bigger as we speak. That was a huge, huge surprise. Now, there's a couple more. The other big surprise was that not only did we survive COVID, but we thrived after COVID. I literally thought our government was putting us out of business. Thank the good Lord that I have a bunch of retailers that didn't listen and they stayed open. And thank the good Lord, I had a bunch of manufacturers that didn't listen and that kept shipping. And not only did we do good during the actual COVID, we really did great after. So that surprised me. And now for the third thing, I know you only asked for one, RJ. The third thing is the first time I heard in a regular, not boutique sleep shop, but a regular sleep shop of somebody selling over $20,000-$30,000 beds, and then over $10,000 to $15,000 sleep systems on a fairly regular basis was just really a few years ago. It was actually shortly after COVID that I started to hear it more and more and more. And I really truly believe that COVID did something to people. And what it did is it made people more aware of the importance of their bed and of their health and how fragile life is. And it made people more in tune with exercise and with rest and with nutrition. And I think that there's a lot of folks out there that are really into wellness now. And the biggest part of wellness is getting a good night's sleep. So that's the biggest shift that I've seen. And I think that it's super important for all of us to tell the story about wellness, about getting a good night's sleep and how it helps improve every aspect of our life. And I'm going to say this to you. If you look like a raccoon because you're not getting a good night's sleep and you work in a sleep shop or a furniture store selling mattresses and selling a good night's sleep, but you yourself appear to not be getting a good night's sleep, you have to find an answer to that. I would suggest you probably start with a sleep study and see if you have sleep apnea. Go to a doctor and or doctors that can help you and really clean up. No caffeine after 4 or 5 in the afternoon. If you're a smoker, no nicotine. If you can stop smoking, stop it. Get a regular walk, and you don't have to be a fitness nut. You don't have to lift weights and go to CrossFit like I do. You don't have to do that. But what you really need to do for your own mental well-being and your own emotional well-being is do a 20-minute walk at least once or twice a day. Get some exercise, watch what you eat. You don't have to be a health food nut and eat this organic and that organic. Just don't poison yourself with a bunch of refined sugar every day. If you want to have a treat and you've been good, have a treat. But be an example of what you are selling. Be that example. And I'm going to tell you something. Life is too short, and you're going to make it shorter if you're not a good example. Not only are you going to have better results as a salesperson, but you're going to be there for your husband and your wife and your children and your mothers and your fathers and your aunts and your uncles and your cousins. Everybody that loves you in this life will be able to have you longer if you take care of yourself. So Oh, thanks, Tara.
Tara says, love that advice. And then we have thank you, sir, from Jacksonville. So I think we have Tara on YouTube, and then we've got RJ on YouTube under different brands there. Jacksonville.
Great
Mattress.
question, RJ. Thank you. Sorry I went off on a tangent. I'm good for that.
It's your show. You can have as many tangents as you want. And we've got Kevin Mitchell chiming in from LinkedIn. Hi, Pete. I missed the first part. Where can I get the book? I might have the answer to that one. So Kevin, here is, well, let me go ahead and share this. Here is where you get Pete's new book. You go to peteprimeau.com, and there you'll have a link. And it looks like it's now available on Amazon, and all of the links will take you to all of the books that Pete has, which will take you directly to Amazon, where you can get miles and miles of retail selling greatness, how to sell more mattresses this year. And we have contributions galore from all of these folks in the industry. So make sure that, Kevin, you hit up peteprimeau.com, and that'll take you right to where you need to go to pick up
Kevin. This is funny because I haven't seen Kevin in about a year and a half. Kevin works for a competitor, and he is a student of the game, and I so enjoy Kevin. So Kevin, thank you. And I hope you're doing well. If there's anything going on that I could help you with, call me at 419-560-3169. Kevin is an amazing talent. He's been a great rep in the industry for many, many years, and is known for going the extra mile for his dealers.
Awesome. And we've got some other comments from folks that are chiming in. And Trevor, Trevor Burner, keep up the great work, Pete.
Hey, Trevor, thank you. I will try, sir. Anything I can do for you, holler at me.
There is no try, only do or do not. That is from the wise sales words of Yoda from Star Wars. So anytime that I could pull in,
Paul Castile would be so proud of you.
Anytime I can pull in a Star Wars reference, I will do it. I will do it.
Absolutely.
I will take that opportunity. All right. No more questions live, but if you do have any questions and you're watching live, and we see a bunch of folks right here that are watching live, please just go into the chat and you take precedent. We shoot you to the top. But let's go with, let me grab, we went off the rails here. This is off the rails. This is why we love doing live video. There we go. Hi, Chris. Let's produce and shuffle a few things around. And here we go. This is from Concerned in New York. Hey, Pete, what are your thoughts about tariffs? Ooh, this is a polarizing potential question here. Do you think they are affecting our business? How do you see it playing out over the next years? All right, so bust out your political crystal ball, Pete, and let's talk about tariffs and how you feel that will affect the mattress industry.
So if I was an economist, I would pull out all kinds of graphs and things, and I would jump into these muddy waters, but I'm not. I'm a sales rep who runs his own sales company, and my customers are store owners. And store owners need to understand, and almost all of them understand this. There are things that you can control in this life, and there are things that you can't control. And anytime we worry unduly about things that we can't control, we give our power away. So I am going to say to my store owners, take your power back. And if you pull that graphic up that we just had, it works for almost everything. I'm surprised that I don't pull this graphic out when I'm talking to my wife about something. You need to focus on your advertising. You need to focus on your display. You need to focus on your merchandising and make sure it makes sense. And let me say this to you. If you think you're doing everything perfect, join MRT on Facebook. That's Jeff Janakovo's, and feel free to pull that up. MattressRetailerToolkit.com. And you go in there, and then you tell me that you're doing everything perfect, because there's nobody doing everything perfect. Here's a funny thing. Who was the one taking the most notes at Scott Vaughn's Masterclass? Jeff Janakovo. The one guy that probably didn't really need to be there. And who belongs to MRT? Scott Vaughn. See a connection there, guys and gals? Always be a student of this game. Always seek to become the best store owner you can be. And there is so much to this, but join MRT. I think it's $97 a month. I belong to it. I can't even get to all the stuff. I love MRT, and I love the people that are in it. Fawad is in it. RJ, Tara, they're in there. Like I said, Scott Vaughn is in there. A lot of people would say Scott Vaughn doesn't need to be in there. He thinks he needs to be in there. He pays his $97 a month, and he gets great value. Jeff, you are welcome. Jeff Janakovo says, thanks for the shout out, Pete. I encourage you, stop worrying about the tariffs.
I love this phrase, the cost of doing nothing is expensive. That I can almost hear Jeff saying that in my ear. That's a great phrase. And Randy Thompson here as well, Pete, mentions that Jeff's starting to do information on AI in the Mattress Retailer Toolkit. How do we get on board with the AI wave? Will it be easier than getting on the digital wave that happened over the past 10 years?
Well, Randy, I'm assuming, and Randy, by the way, thank you for your chapter in the book on under the cash under the bed and how to help us get more customers happily involved with adjustable bed bases, and more importantly than adjustable bed bases, the outcomes that they provide: a better night's sleep, more restful sleep, waking up happy and pain-free, to steal Jeff's phrase. So this is what I would say on AI. It's a tool like a hammer and like a saw. There will be good uses of it, and there will be bad uses of it. There will be moral uses of it and immoral uses of it. There will be lazy people who try to get over on other people using a bunch of AI stuff and not using their own brains. Those people will be discovered, because we're all starting to become more educated about AI. Start with MRT right where you're at and branch out. One of the things that I've always said is ask any coach, ask any mastermind leader that you're involved with. In this case, Randy, it would be Jeff. Say, Jeff, I've read the things that you've posted in MRT. I still have a few questions. I think you actually get to ask questions on those MRT calls that they have once or twice a month. And so I would ask for his sources. What is he reading? What has he found valuable? One of the things that I did is I bought a book on AI by Anthony Iannarino and Jeb Blunt. And the reason I did is because these guys are absolute animals in the best sense of the word. And they probably, before they finished writing that book, had probably, between the two of them, probably read 30, 40 books. So I get to pay those guys like 20, 25 bucks for their book. They already read 40 books and gave me the best of the best. So invest in books and invest in MRT. That will help you. And let me get back to my tariff question.
Yeah, and we do have some comments coming in on tariffs as well. So I'll let you finish it. The book that you mentioned is called The AI Edge.
Yes.
Sales Strategies for Unleashing the Power of AI to Save Time, Sell More, and Crush the Competition. Jeb Blunt and Anthony Iannarino.
Before you pull that down, just leave it up just for a second.
Mhm.
Kevin Mitchell is a great rep. Kevin, buy this book. This is a great book. It is really literally written for reps. For all my rep friends that watch this show, Andy, buy this book, The AI Edge. I would not buy it if I was a retailer. There's better things for you out there, like everything that Jeff's providing in MRT. But AI is for real. It's here to stay. Get good at using it, and it will make your life easier. But you have to use it intelligently. And one of the things that you need to know is AI is kind of like a kindergartner. It will effing lie to you. Yes, it'll lie to you. A lawyer got fined because AI lied to him and he didn't know. It literally made up case numbers because when you give it a prompt, it wants to satisfy that prompt. It's like a kindergartner or a first grader who hasn't been taught not to lie yet. It lies. So remember that about AI. The secret is in the prompts that you put in. Get really good at the prompts, and you will get better answers, and you will be able to get answers to things that will make your life go a little bit quicker and easier. So great question, Randy. Thank you.
We've
If
got
that
a
didn't
number of
answer it,
tariff comments and questions. Did you want to finish your thought on tariffs, Pete, before we roll into those? Or should we?
no, because
Okay.
they'll probably answer themselves.
All right. Robert Mitzel says on tariffs, like everything else in business, slow and steady wins the race. It's a marathon. 5 years ago, we were all panicking and a lot of stores were closed and we had no idea what was happening. I'm sleeping like a baby through this crisis, laughing out loud. Everyone breathe.
I couldn't agree more, Rob. Thank you. And anybody that doesn't know Robert Mitzel, one of the smartest guys in the business. He hasn't been in the business terribly long, but I'll tell you, Rob is a breath of fresh air in this business. He is a student. He's part of MRT, and he is constantly looking for answers. And I couldn't agree more, Rob. What else?
This next one is coming in from Trevor Berner. I believe the big dog companies, TSI or Ashley Furniture, will transition to DTC in any big cities. Ashley bought Resident. TSI bought Mattress Firm, and Sealy is giving customers 60 months, no interest, for a $1,700 mat or more, knowing that a $1,700 mattress. I mean, we're truncating this because we're limited on our comments, or more, knowing we can do that unless it's an owner operator selling. Plus, more signs I've seen.
You know, that's possible, Trevor, and I wouldn't spend much time really worried about that other than this. Single-mindedly focus on this question. How can I deliver a customer experience to my customer that is second to none, that makes them fall in love with me and with my products and with my solutions? And what is it that I need to do with my business to be able to deliver that superior customer experience? There are so many brands out there that people don't even know the names of them that provide unbelievably great quality products, superior results, and people don't know about them. Focus in on that stuff. If the brands don't want to be your friend and they don't want to play fair, then find somebody that will. Okay. But again, if that's in a weekend, and it's not the norm, I wouldn't worry about it too much. I would focus on me, and my store, my business, how I deliver the best experience to my customer. And Trevor, if you belong to MRT, you're in the right place. If you don't, dude, it's $97 a month. It's on Facebook, and just dig in and get that link to MRT. It's Jeff Janakovo's group. He's delivering $1,000 a month of value in that thing for $97. So thank you, Trevor. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah, and speak of the devil, Jeff Janakovo chimes in on Facebook. We have many ways of member engagement: Facebook group, private member messenger chat, dedicated member calls for questions, time at the end of trainings for questions, member community on desktop, and a mobile app. Ask away. So, I mean, that's like, I mean, you have no excuse to not get an answer or some help. Like, it's like, all ports in a storm. You could basically do that. That's, once again, the link here is Mattress Retailer Toolkit. I feel like we have a new sponsor here, Pete. This is good stuff. And speaking of legends, this guy, I think we know who he is, Chris Taheny. Hey, Pete, since we got to ask you the questions today, what is a question your audience didn't ask, but you wish they had?
Oh, Chris, that's precious. So,
winner,
chicken dinner. Chris Taheny, you are a legend. That is the question that I ask at the end of my podcast. To my guests. And so I was hoping somebody would bring up that conversation in Mattress Industry Network group where I think it was L Jr. and he had asked about, what he should do with a salesperson who wants to sell at higher prices than the advertised prices on the website. He asked if he could get the commissions, and everybody said, fire him. And I said, hold on, maybe not so fast. Maybe we shouldn't fire the dude. First of all, I agree with everybody about the integrity issue, but what if, and I don't know, what if this is a young kid who didn't know any better and his uncle said, ask him, he was having dinner with his uncle. He's a 20-year-old kid. He always shows up to work. He's a great salesman. He works really hard. His mom might be dying of cancer. They're running out of money and he wants extra money to support his mother that he loves. And you're going to fire this kid without having a conversation? Shame on you. Don't fire somebody without having a conversation. Up. Pull it back. You are so good.
I thought you were ready to move on, but yeah, this is the question.
How do you approach an RSA selling above ticket price and wanting to pocket the difference? Prices are displayed on our website, not in our star. We pay hourly plus commission. So thank you, Chris, for doing that and keeping me focused. Guys, if he went off and he did it, and then he stuck out his hand and he said, pay me. I sold it for $100 over your price. Pay me. Maybe you fire him, but I still think you have a conversation with him. Listen, I've heard of a lot of problems with salespeople. I heard they don't show up on time. I've heard that they're like herding cats. I heard that they give stuff away. They get too excited about discounting. This is the opposite problem. You might have a diamond in the rough. And let me tell you something. You 50 and 60 and 40-year-old store owners who have the luxury of being so morally superior. When you were a young kid, a child, when you were 20 years old, were you exactly who you are today? Because I'll tell you, I wasn't. And I'm glad I'm not the same person. All right. And not that anybody that knows me when I was 20 would never say Pete Primeau is a bad dude. They're not going to say that to you. They're going to say, what are you talking about, Pete? You are a great teammate, great this, great that. You've always been this way. But I'm going to tell you this. We develop integrity is a muscle that if it's not used every day, it gets soft. If you're dealing with a younger person, I believe that some grace should be applied here.
I like
And
that.
I think we should hear this person out. Where did they get the idea? You know, L Jr., you might not be able to understand my reference, but Columbo, act confused, put your head
Here
down
we go.
and say, I've never had anyone ask me that. That's a very interesting question. Can you tell me why you're asking me that question? I've never heard anybody ask me that, and I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm a little confused. So, coach me up, and he'll tell you, hey, I was having dinner with my uncle last night. He told me I need to make more money to help my mother with her cancer treatments because the insurance has run out and I need to help her. And he gave me the idea. And then you can coach him up and become a mentor to him. And remember, there could always be a diamond in the rough. Now, if this is a person that went off and did this and then stuck his head out, yeah, I agree with everybody else. Integrity is super important. Probably fire, but still ask questions. I believe in always asking questions. Good salespeople, assuming it's a good salesperson, are very hard to find. And if everything else is good and right, then I say ask questions, try to understand what's going on. And if you can help this person, especially if it's a younger person, develop their integrity, then this could be somebody that you have with you the rest of your life and will always be loyal to you.
Wow.
So
that's, listen, that mindset is like, that's like 30 years of wisdom. It took, and being a leader and not a boss, right? Like, take this opportunity to say, okay, maybe this person gets fired, right? But what can I learn from this that helps the business I'm in and helps the person responsible, right? It's that mindset that it's what leaders do. That's what people with successful businesses, like that is the key mindset. And for those that are younger than Pete, than myself, and that their first instinct is, you did this, you screwed up, you crossed the line, you're gone. Now, take the opportunity to maybe figure out what caused that. Like you said, what could I have done, or what can be done at this point to not necessarily salvage the situation, but what can we learn from, right? So that A, it doesn't happen again, right? And then and B, to your point, maybe this is just a learning moment. Like when you started talking about your mistakes when you were 20 something, man, I think we're both glad that that cameras and phone smartphone cameras didn't exist back in the 70s and 80s.
It's like yeah, I yes. Thank the good Lord.
And Andy Anderson, I think we call Andy, he says, if he's able to do it, maybe the prices are too low.
Andy, I love you, dude. Yeah, well, that's true. But somebody else made a comment, and there's some truth to it. If his or her mind works this way, and they're older too, they might be stealing from you. So listen, the biggest mistake that we will ever make is assuming that everybody is like us. Joey Amato threw the book I gave him. I gave him a book, and it was Dan Kennedy's book on managing people. And it's called Ruthless Management of People, blah, blah, blah. And it was really a good book. Brutal title. He thumbed his way through it. He threw it back at me and said, "This is garbage." He got put out of business by somebody he considered a friend of his, who literally stole $2.1 million from him.
Yikes.
And was his CFO.
Wow.
So don't trust people. If you want to trust and verify, that's okay. but don't forget about the verifying, and make sure you have systems so that people can't steal from you. So just keeping it real, guys.
Yeah, Randy Thompson says no pricing in the store. Do any of the salespeople sell below the advertised price? Are they treated the same?
Those are questions that only L Jr. can answer, Randy, and they're very good questions. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got we're striking the fire of a lot of people here online. This is so big it's taking up half the screen. So Trevor Burner, thank you for being active here in the chat. This is great. This is what Ask Pete is about. Trevor says employees don't understand the branding side of things. There are times we sell things under price for reasons. Employees are really easy to get tunnel vision and forget about volume sales versus home run in the moment. Yes, my Oklahoma City store can sell sheets for $99, but only a few will pay it. But 80+% of people will buy them for $34.99. If the business owner is pricing with intelligence, follow his path. I wish the RSA would ask why the mattress is lower than what he can sell it for. And then we ran out of space. But Trevor, if there's a second part to that question, we can add that. David Grange on LinkedIn says, "Ouch," as well. Any comments on Travis? There's a lot to unpack there, but any comments on this, Pete?
No, I think that that's very true, Trevor. Employees often don't understand the brand side of things. And yes, they do get tunnel vision, and I have it with my reps. I get an exception from a company on a one-time situation. All of a sudden, they can't sell it at the regular price, or they can't do it with the regular terms. And I'm like, come on, so yeah. It happens in retail. It happens in wholesale, and we have to be very aware of it.
So, Pete, here's a great question that's coming from Ram on YouTube, and Ram wants to know: is there a group like Mattress Industry Network Facebook group that focuses on the furniture industry that maybe you could suggest?
Not that I know of, and at this point in my life. I probably would have done it 20 years ago, but I'm not doing it now.
Yeah.
But start one, brother.
There we go.
Call Steve Hauk and Greg Gent and start one. You be the dude that does it, because I think there's a lot of value in the group. And I got to tell you guys a funny story. Jeff is like, hey, why didn't you join the group? He's talking about Mattress Industry Network group. I go, no, I'm not joining that group. That guy, guy's crazy. Guy put a picture of himself with a gun in the group. He goes, what? That's not the group. That's the other guy in the other group. And so Steve Hauk and Greg Gent, the reason I'm here is Janakovo, because he would not let me go, and he challenged me and kind of pushed and asked. He finally was exasperated with me. He says, I just don't understand why you're not joining the group. And I told him. So it was funny.
That's hilarious. And Jeff says he'll send the sponsor check for this episode. Yeah, make that check out to Chris Stone, Jeff. I appreciate it.
Yeah, me and Chris are going to have a new deal going.
And so I think we've got a chance for one more question.
Let's try
here. So let's try to get this in. And those of you who are watching live, we can answer any quick questions. But we're going to answer one more question that was emailed. And for those of you who didn't get the new email, it's pete@peteprimeau.com, which I
just found out a few minutes ago, like 5 minutes into the show.
Well, hey, this is what we do. This is why we go live, right? All right, so let's do this. And here we go. This is Impressed in Georgia. I bought your new book, Miles and Miles of Retail Selling Greatness. I've been at this for a long time and have bought all the books. This is the best I've read. I bought books for all my salespeople. How much would you charge to do a 2-hour workshop for my team? Is that on the table, Pete?
Wow. Not really, but in Preston, Georgia, send me an email at pete at peteprimo.com with if you could bring everybody, if you could bring everybody to a single location and it was during the week, I would, at this point in time, I would probably do it just for the airplane ticket to get me to there and back home, and I wouldn't charge you anything. That will probably change if I get a bunch of requests. I'm gonna have to change my answer. But Fawad, that deal is on the table for you. You bought 8 stores worth of books, and I would definitely do that for you, Fawad. So,
and if it's in Georgia and not too far from where the producer of this show lives, I'm sure he would probably get there and just grab a bunch of content of Pete doing said workshop and utilize that for the show. So there's an added bonus. And I'm not even sure what that looks like. But, Georgia is the state I live in, and I'm always looking to connect with Pete Primeau IRL. You know what IRL stands for, Pete?
Nope.
In real life.
IRL, in real life. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
Yeah. So you can,
you think we can plow through another one?
Gen Z. Let's see if we've got any questions. Yeah, we've got a couple of comments here. This is David Grange. I believe that most, if not all, best practices for mattress sales is also key and applicable to furniture.
David, that's really an astute observation. You're 100% right. There are some nuances, but broad strokes, 100% on the money. Thanks, David.
Would you say, like, instead of saying sleep, insert relaxation kind of thing? Like, is it as easy as, like, it doesn't apply to everything, I understand, but like, what are some of the nuances between the two that are sort of evergreen? Because obviously we talk about, sleep, waking up happy, pain-free. These are all terms that are used by Jeff and gardeners and a lot of those, and focusing on improving that, not just, waking up, but improving everything in their lives. And in furniture, you don't spend, hopefully not, you don't spend, 7 to 8 hours every day on a couch or a chair. But what are maybe some things that resonate, that apply, like in the Venn diagram of furniture and mattresses, like what would apply?
Well, if you take that chart, and you don't have to pull it up enough.
Oh, we'll do that.
Everything applies there. The big difference, you got to advertise, display, merchandise, sales, education, delivery, service. Delivery and service are bigger deals in furniture than they are in mattresses, because everyone assumes that furniture comes out of the box perfectly. It does not. It has to be touched up. It has to be deluxe before it's sent out to a customer's house.
Yeah.
So very different. And I would say that everything else is the same according to that chart. But here's the biggest difference. We are really focusing on health and well-being when we're talking about mattresses. When we're talking about furniture, there is, in some cases, health and well-being there. But more than anything, your furniture makes a house a home. It's a reflection of your personality. There's usually ego attached to it. There's status attached to it, especially rooms in the house that other people would see, like a formal living room, a formal dining room. So there's status and ego attached to furniture that you don't have attached to mattresses. And a lot of people would say furniture is easier to sell than mattresses, but I think that's oversimplifying it. There's actually more choices with furniture. But when Mrs. Jones falls in love with furniture, it becomes a very easy sale. And I am so sad because we have run out of time and we literally only got to 2 questions.
Hey, this is what happens. We'll just keep those questions for next time, or maybe you want to reply to them directly. And this is what Ask Pete's about. If you show up live, you're going to get precedent. Hey, a lot of these questions you can reply to on the fly. And a successful Ask Pete episode is one where we have comments like this. And we
Thank you, everybody.
Like this. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone that commented. We're going to have a special Pete Primeau show this Friday at 2:00 with my friend Pat Tinney, and he is unleashing sales gorilla, and it's going to be fascinating. A lot of people that don't know Pat Tinney, he has had some friends in the furniture business and actual mentors that were in the furniture business. And his world and my world have overlapped quite a bit. So the conversations with Pat are always lively and interesting. And again, our show, you can ask any question you want. So Pat is highly regarded as probably one of the most respected authorities in negotiations. And so whether you own a furniture store or a mattress store, or you're a sales rep or you're a VP of sales and you're ever involved in negotiations, this is a must-see Pete Primeau show on Friday at 2:00. So join us then. Chris, I'm sorry I cut into your lunch. Thank you for a great show.
You're good. Thank you, Pete.
Thanks, everybody. Go forward and sell 1 million.